We'll get this one out of the way with Eric Swalwell resigning from the House, maybe still potentially seeing an expulsion vote. But before we get your comments on him, we want to remind our viewers that you have a little bit of a history with him. Listen to this.
What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, "Protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio," because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole. My God, are you okay, Mr. Chairman?
No, there's obviously very alarming allegations against Eric Swalwell, but we wanted to take a trip down memory lane with his other shenanigans on the Hill.
Yeah, that tweet, our media team used AI to put that tweet together, and I think it was the one with President Trump hugging the kitten or the duck swimming or whatever, and that was unbelievable. The number of people who saw that and liked that. So yeah, sometimes you got to have a little fun with this place. Look, I've often said these kind of situations. This is between the member and their voters, and it looks like Representative Swalwell has chosen to obviously step down. You know, I typically leave these things to the Ethics Committee and leave them to the voters, and it looks like it's been the decision he's made is his voters felt like, and he felt like he should step down.
U.S. District Judge James Boasberg tried to investigate criminal contempt charges against a number of Trump administration cabinet members. Kristi Noem, former DHS secretary, is one of them because they were using deportation flights last year to go to El Salvador. That's been blocked now.
Yeah.
What is your perspective on that, given your comments previously about Judge Boasberg and his behavior?
Yeah. Remember what Judge Boasberg said? He said, "Turn the plane around, bring the bad guys back to the United States." I mean, these are people who are in our country illegally, who did terrible things, and we were moving them back, repatriating them back to their home country. And the judge said, "Turn the plane around, bring them back to the country." That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And of course, as most Americans were rightfully concerned about that, one of the things we did is said, okay, if one of the federal district judges, we passed this bill out of our committee and out of the House, if one of our district judges is making a decision, it shouldn't have nationwide implications. If they issue an injunction, it should apply only to the parties in the case in that respective jurisdiction as a way to kind of curtail some of the things we're seeing from these left-wing activist judges.
House Democrats, led by Jamie Raskin, who, of course, led the impeachments against President Trump, has just unveiled a bill to examine removing Trump using the 25th Amendment. Is this going anywhere, given that the cabinet would have to be involved, or is this just another show from Democrats?
No, and it's ridiculous, and everyone knows it's ridiculous. And frankly, when you think about what Democrats said and did for almost the entire term of President Biden, I mean, I had someone say to me, "Oh, well, you guys went after President Biden." No, we didn't. The first one to really go after President Biden was Robert Hur. Not until Robert Hur came forward, the special counsel that the Biden Justice Department appointed to look into President Biden's mishandling of classified information. He's the one who said Joe Biden would be difficult to prosecute because he would come across as a sympathetic older gentleman who can't remember things. That was Robert Hur who cited this concern. And yet they defended the President Obama for 4 years, and now they come some ridiculous claim that they're going to go after President Trump. This is, again, just Democrats with their endless, constant attack on President Trump, which, frankly, we have seen since clear back in 2016.
Let's turn to the election now, midterm elections. ActBlue raised $568 million in the first quarter of 2026. They set a record for a midterm election year in this first quarter. This, of course, has Republicans in the Trump administration investigating them over allegations that it allowed foreign donors to illegally contribute. There was a huge story in the New York Times recently about this. What is happening here to hold the group accountable? And if there are allegations of foreign donations and they're making record money in an election year, it seems like that might be a problem ahead of November.
Well, we deposed them. Let's just say this, that they didn't say a whole lot. So we're looking into this, but the most recent news is their CEO, Ms. Wallace Jones, had responded to a letter from Chairman Steil, Republican chairman of the House Administration Committee. And in that letter, she said some things that looked like they weren't accurate relative to what they did concerning foreign contributions. So much so that their counsel said, hey,
Yeah.
We think you may have misrepresented and misled the Congress. And that lawyer stepped down. And by the way, that lawyer was a key lawyer in the Obama administration, Dana Remus, who worked at the big law firm of Covington. So that's how serious it's getting. We're going to keep investigating and digging into.
Before you go, we can't talk about elections without asking about leadership potentially. There's some talk that you could become the minority leader should Republicans not keep the House. Is that something that you're open to?
We're going to keep the House. I'm focused on one thing, keeping the House, because you and I know if we don't keep the House, they're going to impeach President Trump. We're going to be right back to where in 2019.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.